in that, I check that box. Nobody ain't ever look at me and say, hey, man, have you ever participated in that? And why haven't you ever done it? I can say, yes, I have. You did it too. And
you have pictures to prove it.
We have pictures to prove it.
Frozen pictures to prove it.
That was the coldest. I mean, I'm telling you, I'll never forget. It's fun. Look, it's a bucket list thing, really. I mean, you hear about it up north all the time, but this was started several years ago. It's been a great event to raise money for the Lake Martin Resource Association. And look, it's a fun event just to go down. You ain't got to get in the water. I mean, you can be part of the event. There's a lot that goes on down at Kalijah, but if you haven't done it, I encourage you to do it. So you can check that box. Some people out there listening go, man, you can check a box if you want to. I ain't getting in that water in January.
Funds do go to a great association in the Lake Martin Resource Association, and one of the big things that they use these funds for are the lighted buoys that are out there in the lake. I've got a couple out in front of me at my house, and if I didn't have the 2 buoys that were out there, I'd probably have 2 or 3 boats a month up on my shore. It's needed all throughout the lake. You think people know the lake and you think they know where the low spots are, but that's not reality. And there's a lot of newcomers that are here every summer and here throughout the winter fishing in tournaments as well that really don't know the lake, and these buoys really help out with that. And it's a great organization all the way around.
Yeah, just safety. I mean, it just, again, the most seasoned person out there can get turned around sometimes and just kind of forget where you are momentarily, and then all of a sudden you can be in a bind. But those funds do go to help protect everybody out there. So Jake will be up here a little bit later on to talk about that, and we look forward to that. Just a ton going on nationwide in sports. Obviously, we're dead in the middle of basketball season with Alabama and Auburn. We'll talk about that game on Wednesday night, kind of recap that. Both teams be back in action. Today, Alabama will have Missouri. Auburn will be on the road at Florida. Our very own Andy Graham down there with our friend Justin Clayton. They'll be at the game, so they won't have to worry about bringing Auburn their first loss. They took that one on Wednesday night to Alabama. So we'll talk a lot about that. The cheating situation in baseball right now. It seems to be, it just seems to be getting worse every day, and a lot of heads are rolling right now. A lot of people, their reputations and the franchises, there's a lot on the line. And how does Major League Baseball handle all this stuff once they get all the information after they investigate? Pete Rose is probably sitting over there, the meme, the Kermit the Frog meme, sitting there drinking the tea. Going, yeah, all right, you banned me for life. What you gonna do to these guys? I mean, to me, and Andy and I talked about this earlier, and we can kind of just start from here and move on. To me, this is worse, because at the end of the day, these guys did this to gain an advantage to try to win a championship. Pete Rose, what he did was unethical. But he bet on his own team, and he bet on his team to win. So you know what? I almost don't have a problem with that. That's almost like a personal problem. Now, if he was betting on the other team and he was trying to rig things to cause the Reds to lose, now that's a whole different deal. Man, that man's betting on himself to win against the team. So that's going to make you play even harder. I don't know. I'm not giving him a pass. But if they're going to ban him for life, they need to. If all this comes to fruition, there's a lot of these other ones that need to be banned for life too.
Hey, I'm on both sides of the fence here. There's an unwritten rule in baseball, and I know that it's kind of gamesmanship that goes on. But the gamesmanship has always been try to steal signs. It's a goal. There's always a gamesmanship in the dugout of guys that get on base, and how do you look down in and steal signs and pass those signs along? Can you figure out bunting signs from the opposition? Can you, if you read a coach over there that's actually calling pitches, which happens a ton in ball all the way up, can you pick up on what he's calling? It helps. It's always been kind of an unwritten rule, and for a lot of guys, baseball is one of those sports, and I try to mute this a little bit, but there are moments when you are part of a team and you aren't actually playing where that can be one of the most boring 3 hours of your life. It's just a lot of downtime.
There is a lot of downtime.
It's an immense amount of downtime. And if you can use that time productively, mentally, you feel like you're kind of helping the team. And that was always kind of a gamesmanship. It went on everywhere. there's always a gamesmanship for those guys that may be pitchers only.
Yep.
That they're over there on the bench. They threw 2 games ago. They're not throwing. They're hanging out. They're going to be sitting here for 3 hours. What are they going to do to help the team out? I mean, you can rah-rah all you want. So most of those guys to keep themselves involved in the game would be trying to steal signs. Now, I know this took it a little further than that when you bring technology into the mix. But I also know the part of the game where that's what you've always do, and that's what you try to do, and I somewhat see where this comes from and got taken a little bit to the extreme.
I hear that part, and I agree with you for the most part on the gamesmanship, because that to me is part of it. If you're not smart enough to change your signals up, if you think somebody's done it, stolen your signs, and you just keep calling the same thing, then you deserve to get what you get. When you implement technology, now we can go into football and we can talk about stealing plays and all that and signals too. Same goes for that. But when you implement technology, and if all this stuff with this buzzer thing starts to come out, and if they were wearing stuff to where they could get a buzz, I mean, that's beyond me looking over in the dugout trying to figure out, in the course of 2 or 3 innings. Now, I know a coach really well, and he prides himself. I'm not going to say his name, and I've known him a long time. He prides himself in, by the 3rd inning, having every single sign from the opposing team.
What they do.
Got no problem with that.
Yeah.
I got no problem with him watching and monitoring, and because if you're a coach out there and you're out there doing the signals, it is what it is. I mean, you're liable to be, to catch, the signs being stolen. On the flip side, when you got an electronic device zooming in on a catcher, or however they want to do it, and I talked to some people this week, and I talked to a former major league player this week. And he said, look, it's always been real time in the clubhouse. You sitting down there watching, the game real time. He said the reason they did that is because if you needed to get ready to go, you needed to be ready to go immediately and get up there to the bullpen and start warming up. He said the correction with that would be to put a 10 to 15 second delay on the monitors inside the stadium and inside the the field part of it. And he said by the time if you steal a sign then, they're on to the next pitch by then, so it's irrelevant. So they're going to evaluate all that, and then of course I've heard they've kicked around taking cameras totally out of there, just taking it all out. It's not even allowed on the field of play, period. And the only time it can be allowed to be in spring training to get you better and to work on batting, technique and all this kind of stuff. And then when it comes to the season, man, take it all the way out.
Well, yeah, you said it with football. And you said baseball seems to not be able to get out of their own way. There's always these stories out there. And, I think you're right. I think the issue with baseball, though, is that it's put out in front of you so much better than it is in other sports. And I don't know why that is, but let's just take football, for instance. Does any human that's watching this program think PEDs were worse in baseball than they were in football? Do you?
No.
There's no way, Brett. These aren't normal humans. Normal humans don't build themselves up to what you see these football players starting to look like. Doesn't happen. Look at bodybuilders. That's not normal genetics.
Yep.
You and I could go pump iron. Now, I'm not calling us anywhere near the genetics that some of these guys have, but even their frames can't get to where they go. And the idea that baseball was in a much worse position than football is an utter joke. And do you think that doesn't take linebackers and running backs and offensive linemen and defensive linemen in and out of the game? The same old knock that goes on baseball, well, it costs people their jobs. You think it doesn't cost an offensive tackle a job that weighs 280, that gets to 325 because of that? And somebody else that's not doing it stays at 295 and can't get in the league? What do you think?
It definitely costs them their job.
And so I think that it goes back and forth. I don't know why there is some kind of knock on baseball like we think that it wasn't going on in other sports. Football's got to be the worst culprit of all.
It just seems to be the sport that, over the history of its lifetime, there's just every so many years there's another scandal that comes up.
Because it's storied. The media jumps on it so much harder than they do these others.
I don't know why they do.
Do you know of anyone? Let me ask you this, and I know we're up against a break. You know anybody that's taken PEDs consistently in NFL football that's been knocked?
No.
I mean, Lyle Alzado, there's a few others that I can kind of
long time ago, but when they were out of football by the time we did that.
What's the percentage of guys that played in the NFL in, say, the 90s you think were on PEDs? What percentage?
All right, let me ask you this.
80? Would you guess 80?
Probably.
Okay. Do you know any of the 80%?
Didn't the NFL decide that they weren't going to do the testing?
That's my point, though, is because they just say, look, fine. We know it's costing people jobs. We know it's altering the game. We know that it's not true talent.
Did baseball mess up not doing that?
Well, those were the two choices that went. One decided to just turn a blind eye, and the other turned a blind eye for a while. Then they decided they were going to expose it. And once they exposed it, all the media, all of us talking heads just shattered.
Is Major League Baseball their own worst enemy? Not in this science thing.
If you think football's in the right.
Well, I don't think. I mean, nobody. I think that follows sports in their right mind doesn't think that football players aren't taking PEDs. I mean, that's just asinine. I mean, you can just look at it with your own eyes and tell. We'll keep this discussion going. We're up against our first break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman, General Manager of Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga.
And I'm Coco. Do you owe more on your vehicle than it's worth? Are you stuck with high interest rates? We may be able to help.
If you've made your last 12 consecutive payments on time and would like to get a new vehicle for the same or close to the same payment and save thousands of dollars in interest, you may qualify.
So come by and see us and let us show you the Vaden way.
Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga, located on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Sound is something good.
At Kia of Auburn, no money down all month long.
Guaranteed I like it, yeah.
Plus, get no payments for 90 days and Kia's 100,000-mile 10-year warranty.
Sound is something good.
At Kia of Auburn on South College and KiaofAuburn.com.
Guaranteed I like it. No, I really love it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown here, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Just kind of continuing our discussion on the scandal that's going on with Major League Baseball and kind of across sports. You know, look, every sport has had its day and it's had its black eye, but it just seems like Major League Baseball, you know, it just feels to me like they've just gotten over all this, you know, PED stuff and the home run situation, where the reason to me they got that out of control or let that get out of control was because they were losing in the ratings. That Major League Baseball, I mean, you heard it all the time that, you know, the national pastime's just dying. It's not getting the you know, the attendance in the stands the way it used to. But all of a sudden, Joe Blow fan got interested when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa got into a home run battle. And then it kind of led to Barry Bonds' run to getting, you know, to beating Hank Aaron and becoming the home run king, which probably in baseball, the home run title is the most, I guess, prestigious stat that you can have, and it's a stat-driven sport, but everybody started to become suspicious. Major League Baseball knew it was going on, but they turned a blind eye because they were getting TV ratings. People wanted to tune in every night to see if Sosa and McGwire were going to hit a home run and how that race was going to end up. They sold themselves out in the short term for the fallout that they got long term.
Well, you know, here's the deal, Brett. I think a lot of sports, you know, the media kind of grabs onto stories like this and makes some worse than others.
Yeah.
And then turn a blind eye to other things that are going on. And it's really odd to me. You can't tell me, for instance, you cannot tell me that high school, college, and pro teams don't have cameras on coaches that are on the sideline.
You know they do. You know they do.
You can't tell me that all of the film study that goes on, say, in football, if there's a coach that's willing to sit over there, and I don't care if he's got two guys standing beside him, that there's not very smart analytical guys that they have watching those films where a majority of the plays that are called, the opposition knows exactly what's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's cheating?
Well, what do you think New England Patriots have been just caught doing?
Do you think that's cheating?
Do I think it's cheating if they're analyzing signals through electronic devices? Does the rule say it's illegal?
Well, my question is, do you call it cheating if there's a camera that's supposedly on a coach?
If the rules say
you can't do that?
If the rules say you can't do that, yes. All right, so is it in the major? I don't know the answer to this question. You may do it. Is it in the rule books in Major League Baseball that you can't steal a sign, even though people steal signs? Is it in the rule books that it's illegal to capture the signals of another team and use that to your advantage? I don't know if it's written in there or not.
I can't imagine it is.
Okay.
How do you word that?
There's got to be some. Okay, if it isn't, then if it didn't say anywhere in the rules that you can't use devices to steal signs from the other team, then they don't have a case. It's got to be written in there somewhere. It's got to be written up in there however it's written. The reason the New England Patriots are in such hot water and seem to be the most scandalous organization in the NFL and the most prestigious at the same time, but they've been caught 3 times now doing stuff. You know, the first time they still, you know, filming the Jets, and then the Deflate Gate with Indianapolis, and then the third one here recently where they were filming the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, why are you filming them? What do you need to film them for?
It's part of your process.
Well, they got caught. See, and that's the thing I think people miss. Everybody's like, why are they filming Cincinnati? Well, what's to say they ain't been filming everybody? They just, the security guard for Cincinnati just happened to walk up on the guy filming the sideline, and then he tried to make up a story, and the security guard said, no, man, I see exactly what you're doing. You're not filming to try to gain some kind of thing for a TV show. I know exactly what you're doing. So they caught them red-handed. My point is that it says in the rules in NFL you can't do that. Okay, so if you get caught with a camera on a coach doing that, you're cheating. It's cheating. Now, if it wasn't in the rules, then it wouldn't be cheating. It'd be smart. It'd be like, man, I'm gaining an advantage. But you can't do that. I mean, there's a reason that in college and pro they hold signs up now and they hold blankets up. Did you see Baylor's sideline? Matt Rule, he's over there at Carolina now. I mean, every time before they called a play, I mean, this big, huge thing came up behind them. You couldn't see a thing that they were doing from the press box. I mean, you got to protect yourself now, but it's against the rules written in football and college and pro. And I don't know about Major League Baseball. I don't know how the terminology is written about stealing signs because it's been part of the game for so long.
It's part of the vernacular. It's part of what
it's got to read something to the effect that you can't use external devices to gain an advantage.
And I've never played in a ball game that wasn't open, that teams were trying to do that.
Everybody goes in.
And that's all the way down into the little levels that I would be playing in. I'm not talking about minor league baseball, major league baseball, where people are making money and you've got administration and you've got support staff that's what their job is. It's kind of like college football at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys that are grad assistants. The only thing they do is watch film and do analytical
I got no
work.
problems watching film, and here's the thing. Again, it goes back to the institution or the organization to protect yourself. If you run the same signs all year, somebody's going to pick up on it.
Yes.
Okay, if you're not going to put the blanket up and see what the hand signals were on that particular play, then yeah, when you exchange film, you're going to see what they signaled, and you're going to be able to put 2 and 2 together because you got a staff that does that. So part of it is the responsibility of the team that's vulnerable, which means everybody. Everybody's vulnerable to somebody else. So you need to protect yourself. You need to put protectionary measures in because you know people are going to be out there trying to gain an advantage. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that it's wrong, that it's illegal. If it's written in the rules, it's against the rules, and that's it. There is no, well, do you think that's cheating? If you film that coach, if it's in the rules, yes. If it's not in the rules, then no, it's not. It just depends on what the terminology reads.
I don't have an answer. I'm on both sides here, though, and I'm definitely not one that's sitting up here going, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of sports, and they ought to be ashamed. They ought to feel bad about it. If they were doing it, Brett, I'm guessing half of the teams would be my guess.
Of course they are. I mean, this is just the beginning. That's why I said to you this morning before the show, this isn't just going to stop with the Astros. Heads are going to roll. If you got a whistleblower, and I hate that term by the way, but if you got somebody that wants to rat somebody out because of something, then they're going to rat somebody else out. Well, they're doing it over in L.A. Well, they've been doing it in Boston for 5 years, and New York Yankees been doing it for 50. You know, and it's just gonna come full circle, man. It's all gonna come out, and so nobody will be safe here. I mean, you saw how extensive the PED thing ran amongst players. Andy Pettit, Rafael Palmeiro, Jason Giambi. I mean, the list. A-Rod. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, man. So you're gonna be exposed. If you cheated, you're gonna be exposed, man. And it could be multiple organizations. It could be, I don't know, half of Major League Baseball, maybe all of them. They may come to find out that everybody's been doing it, and so what do you do at that point? How do you punish them? Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Be the hostess with the mostest this holiday season at Chicken Salad Chick with our easy party catering. Need a quick appetizer? Stop by Chicken Salad Chick and grab a quick chick of any chicken salad flavor or the pimento cheese ball covered with crushed pecans and crispy bacon. Remember, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. For a limited time, our pumpkin cheesecake is back and it's delicious. Chicken Salad Chick can feed any holiday crowd with our custom fit catering. 12 flavors of chicken salad, there's sure to be something for every taste bud.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, Sign Source has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. Sign Source.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Comment coming through. Toolman says stealing signs to some degree has been a part of baseball / sports forever. Got to be more to it than this. Filming in football is very much different. Okay, so you know, still, and I again, what Toolman's saying is the bringing in of an electronic device to gain advantage. If you're looking across the way in mid-game trying to steal a sign, that's been, everybody kind of knows that goes on in baseball. And it's your responsibility to if you think the other team stole your sign, to change them.
Well, I don't know any pitcher and catcher that doesn't think the opposition's trying to steal their signs.
Well, Florida State.
I don't know any. I've never heard of a pitcher or catcher not communicate that someone's trying to steal their signs. I've never known a coach that actually calls pitches over there on the bench that doesn't think within an inning or two they've got it picked up and doesn't change
it up. That's what I'm saying.
Here's my issue is how in the world is it that easy? It's not that easy even if you know, Brett.
No, that's right. It's not easy.
It's not.
But you gain an advantage if you like, I'll go to the buzzing thing, and now this is speculation. If you're in the batter's box and you're facing a guy, Aroldis Chapman, okay, like Jose Altuve did, and he stole 102. Well, if you think he's about to throw an off-speed pitch and he throws 102, you have got, no chance to even come close to hitting it. You're going to maybe foul it off if you're lucky. If you know that he's about to throw 2 or 3 sliders in a row, and you know that he normally doesn't throw his slider for a strike, it normally breaks out of the zone, but they get you swinging because you guessed wrong, then you just sit there and wait till he throws three pitches and get to a 3-0 count. Now you know that, again, if you're still in the signs or if you're buzzing, you know he's about to throw his fastball down the middle. Now, it still doesn't mean you're going to hit it out. It still don't mean you're going to get a base hit. You can miss it. You can pop it up or whatever. But what it has done is it's given you a tremendous advantage against that particular pitcher in that particular instance. You know, Jose Altuve hit one out against Aroldis Chapman this year in the playoffs. So I don't know, other than the scenario that I just used, a better way to explain it. What Toolman's saying is that you've got the implementation of electronic devices into the situation now, which changes things dramatically. It's not me and you over here trying to guess, you know, what does this mean versus that and all this kind of stuff. This is a study. This is man, I know it's about to be a fastball. I mean, it's kind of taking it to another level is what it's
Well,
what
I think it's interesting to see what other players in the league at the same time have to say about it. I mean, the guy you talked to, did he care? Or did he kind of expect it? Is it part of the game to him?
Well, not the camera stuff. It wasn't. He
That
thinks
bothered
it bothered him. Yeah, it did. I mean, he said that, look, again, the unwritten rule about stealing the signs and stuff from dugout to dugout, he said, look, you got to be smart enough to change things around and so people don't pick up. Look, Florida State accused Auburn in the national championship game of knowing their plays in the first half. I don't know if it did or not.
Probably did.
So it probably did.
Yeah.
Because, man, they were probably a play away from putting the game away before halftime. You know, and they went in there. But, you know, if Jimbo Fisher, if that were the case, came out and had done the same exact thing they did in the first half.
Changed it up, yeah.
Yeah, if they'd have done the same thing and they lost the game, well, that's their fault.
And probably, would you have a problem as an Auburn fan if Auburn had a camera that it was at least, maybe it was wide, but you could see the coach over there, and we had a grad assistant watch what that coach was signaling in, and that's all that grad assistant did for 3 weeks leading into the national championship game. Is that cheating?
I have a problem if you do it in the game. If you do, if we had if we had a live camera on a coach during that game and we were ready.
What if there is a wide? I mean, when you have a single camera, it's wide angle. You're getting the whole field.
That's right.
You can get in as long as the camera is quality enough. You can span in and see exactly what's going on with the coach.
Sure.
Would you have a problem if I were to tell you in 2013 or 14 that they just had a guy, me or you, sit up there for 3 weeks and that's what our job was?
And watch past film. Past film. That's again. I'll go back and I'll kind of defend that statement. If you were doing that from a standpoint of not covering yourself as a team, if you weren't putting the blankets up or whatever to cover up your play caller, then that's on that guy. That's on him. That's not in game radio and hey, they're calling this.
Well, it's in game. You already know.
Well, but that,
soon as he makes.
But you know what? He had an opportunity for over the. If you watch film for 3 weeks, what was to say that it's like studying for a test, you know, and doing this, and then all of a sudden, you know, you get in there on the test, and the test is completely different. Somebody gave you a test and go, these are the questions.
Pitchers and catchers have that same opportunity, Brett. If I sense that something's odd here, he's on.
No,
he's on every off-speed pitch I throw. And the last 2 batters have been on it.
That's true.
You know how easy it is?
But going back to the filming thing, prior, going into the next week or the next game, if you continue to use the same signs, of course people are, after watching 3 or 4 weeks of film, if you do the same hand motion and that means a toss sweep or that means a jet sweep or something like that, then that's your stupidity. I mean, if it's different than, because you had a chance to change the whole sign deal going in to the next week.
You can change pitching signs.
You can, but you can still them in game. It's different with baseball.
I think people are making.
I'm talking about
out to be.
No, I'm talking about using the film
than it actually is. I think it's harder. I think we think that there's an earpiece in Altuve's ear, and it's saying, "Guess what? A slider's coming."
Well, I mean,
it's not that easy.
What about a buzzer? Is that the same thing?
Well, I mean, what are you going to double buzz them if it's an off-speed pitch and single buzz a fastball?
Sure, absolutely.
And you think he's right every time, like pitchers never communicate and check. You don't think that's a fastball sometimes?
I'm just saying that well, I mean, again, it goes back to can they change it up?
Of course they can.
Okay,
they can
that's
in
fine.
Between pitches.
That's good. And if you have enough sense to think that they're doing that, then the guy that's at the plate, then the pie's on his face.
That's right.
But it ain't. But they're tied it into the success and how good these particular ones that they've singled out have done. I mean, if you have a problem with them having an electronic device on buzzing them, if you were a pitcher, during a game, now this ain't sign stealing. Do you have a problem with them buzzing a player or banging on a trash can?
I think the banging on the trash can's always gone on.
Okay, and maybe it has.
I do. I believe that. I believe it goes on in Little League.
It probably does.
Yeah. I mean, I bet it goes on a lot better in Major League Baseball, where you have
I'm just saying from an integrity standpoint of going above and beyond of stealing a sign, and then me figuring out, okay, by inning 2, you got my signs, I got to change some things up. It's different. than if you implement something into the game that's a foreign object to give you an advantage.
I know we're up against the break. We've got Jacob Meacham about to come on, but every athletic venture you have is going to have a coach or players that are trying to get an advantage. It's a competition.
Until you're exposed.
It's a competition. You can say it's right or wrong, and I'd love to live in a utopian world where it doesn't happen, but it's the truth. And until you're exposed and everybody, gravitates to that story.
The bottom line is, did they gain an advantage to win a championship because of what they did? If you're cool with that, then let's just take the rules out. Let's not have the argument. Let's not have a national story. Major League Baseball had a choice to decide whether they wanted to test players for drugs or not. NFL decided they didn't want to do it. Guess what? The NFL doesn't catch heck about it.
True.
Major League Baseball does. Yep. They had their own choice. And I'm not saying it, I side with Major League Baseball. I'm glad they did it. They tried to make it an integrity thing. And, it's backfired. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neusen. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Joined now by Jacob Meacham here from the Allen City Chamber of Commerce. Jacob, thanks so much for coming up here early this morning. You guys got a full day coming up.
We got a busy day. It's the 5th annual Lake Martin Young Professionals Polar Plunge down
Fifth year.
5th year. It's hard to believe that it's already here, but our first one was back in 2016. So here we are in 2020 with number 5.
Time just goes by fast. I was part of that 2000. I was in the inaugural jump in, and you know, look, that, to me, that was a true polar plunge. I remember driving down to Collides that morning. We did the show down there that morning, and I think the high was like 38, 39. The wind was blowing about 20, 25 miles an hour, and it was snow flurrying.
It was.
That morning.
That night before, I had to pick up some last-minute supplies at Walmart, and as I walked out, some snow was falling.
So that's a true polar plunge.
That was true, but it's true for anybody who
jumps in that water.
I came out this morning, and you know, it's
cool.
It ain't warm outside.
Oh no, it's not warm at all. It's January, and it's kind of been unseasonably warm, but the temperature is definitely going to drop today.
Yeah.
But look, I told everybody to start the show. It's a bucket list thing. It was for me. I'm like, man, you know, you hear about this up north all the time. People going out there jumping in water in January. I'm going to do it. I'd say I at least did it one time. But, you know, you don't have to jump in the water to be part of this event. It's a great event. We talked about how it raises money for the LMRA, which, you know, the buoys out there to keep everybody safe on the lake.
That's right.
Just kind of talk about the whole event.
Yeah, so it's a fundraiser for the Lake Martin Resource Association. If you don't know much about them, we call them LMRA. That's kind of what people know them as, and they do a lot of really good work for Lake Martin. Not only the trash cleanups that they do throughout the year and keeping the lake clean and beautiful, but what this fundraiser actually goes toward is their lighted buoy program. It's called Light Up Lake Martin, which is an effort they have to replace a lot of the hazard area buoys on the lake with buoys that light up. So the cost per buoy replacement plus the component that goes on to light it up is about $400 each. In the past 4 years, we've raised a little over $14,000, almost $15,000 to go toward that effort. So they've been able to install close to 90 of the lighted buoys so far. So we know a lot of the accidents on the lake occur at nighttime. There's just a lot of folks out there who are visiting friends, going to restaurants, just hanging out, whatever. And so to provide that extra layer of safety with the lighted buoys is something that they view as important, and we think is a great way to support them. So that's why we do the event. But it's just a fun thing to do. What else are you going to do on a cold day in January where there's really not much else going on? Collides Restaurant's an amazing venue for something like this.
It really is.
A $20 ticket includes a delicious menu that they put together. It's kind of a special polar plunge menu, a little bit outside of what they normally do. So for $20, you get to support LMRA. You get some great food. We have live music from 12:30 to 3:30 by Dallas Dorsey. Doors open at 10 o'clock. The plunge is at noon. Music is from 12:30 to 3:30. Collides bars will be up and running, so their staff does a great job with making sure everybody's full.
Go get some of that false heat.
That's right.
It makes
That's
you
right.
feel warm.
That's
it's not
right.
really. But you know, that to me, the event itself, you know, the people that decide they want to jump in the water, that's a fun part of it. But the whole event is fun, and of course, when you raise money for something, I want to go back and talk about that a little bit as somebody that's on the lake a lot at night. Like myself, especially during the spring and summer months on the lake, your head you can be so alert and your head on a swivel, and still something can happen to you, or you can kind of get turned around. You know, even the most seasoned boater out there that knows the lake like the back of their hand, that something can happen to them. For other people that aren't familiar with it, these are extremely important. Maybe your boat doesn't have, you know, the GPS and the electronics that some other boats have, and you rely on. Well, I think around here somewhere is that shallow sandbar, and then, you know, if you got the lighted buoy, it kind of takes the guesswork out of it, which can save lives, man.
Absolutely, and I think they've been able to demonstrate just how effective it's been with maybe some numbers that show the decrease in those nighttime accidents since they've been doing stuff like this. So it's a great organization period, but this effort specifically really helps with the safety of the lake. I did want to thank our sponsors for the event.
Absolutely.
It's presented by Lake Martin Dock Company. David McGirt and his team do an awesome job with all your marine construction needs, but really they're just great supporters of the community. They're very involved with LMRA, they're very involved with us at the Chamber, and they're the presenting sponsors of this event. Russell Lands on Lake Martin obviously provides us with a venue sponsorship that allows us to have it at Collides Restaurant. Couldn't have a good event without a good place to host it at. And Russell Marine is a gold sponsor. Steve Robinson Tallapoosa County Commissioner and Russell Medical are our silver sponsors. And then Ballard Construction, they sponsor the Dash for the Cash, which immediately after the polar plunge, you can go back out into the water for a short race, win $100. David Willis with Raymond James Financial sponsors our costume contest. Dress up in a nice costume, you can win $100 there. And then Lake Martin Realty and Lake Magazine and Zajax Auto Collision kind of round out our supporting sponsors with some various other supporting sponsorships. But without our sponsors, an event like this wouldn't be possible, wouldn't be able to raise the money that we do for LMRA.
It brings people in, not just in this community. That's the cool thing.
Yeah, we've had, looking at our guest list, tickets have been sold online. Most people buy them at the door, but I'm going down our guest list of people that have bought tickets, and it's not a lot of names that I recognize. So I know it's a lake crowd. It's people who are familiar with the lake from having second homes here, who are maybe just here for a nice long holiday weekend with MLK. A lot of people being off school and work on Monday. So it does attract a really good mix of Alexander City, Lake Martin community supporters.
And that's the goal.
Absolutely. You want to bring as many people as we can together.
Yeah, and then, introduce them to each other, and you make friends and bring other people into your community, and of course have the base of this community go out and be the main support. But Jacob, thanks so much, man, for coming up here.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I know
thanks
it's
for
going to
allowing
be a great
us to do
event. Absolutely. The Polar Plunge today down at Kalijah. Again, tell everybody what time it starts.
Doors open at 10. Food service starts at 11. The plunge is at noon. Music is from 12:30 to 3:30. So come on out anytime between then. It's $20. It supports a great cause. You get a lot of delicious food and just have a great time.
If you have not done it, if you've not jumped in the water, just go ahead and bite the bullet and do it. Okay.
We got changing rooms. You
There
can
you
go
go.
and get dried off and warm right afterwards. And like Brett said, get your little liquid courage from our friends down at Kalijah.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So Polar Plunge today. Jacob, thanks so much for coming out.
Appreciate
buddy.
y'all.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Expect it or not, the loss of a loved one is difficult. Put your family first by planning ahead. This is Joseph Dean, new owner of Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers. We are a full-service funeral home with an on-site crematory and cemetery. Whether your need is immediate or you would like to plan in advance, our experienced, compassionate staff can assist you in designing an enduring memorial experience, burial, or cremation. Alabama Funeral Homes and Cremation Centers on Highway 280 in Camp Hill or online, alabamafuneralhomes.com.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to goreesfurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving. Sound is something good.
At Kia of Auburn, no money down all month long.
Guaranteed I like it, yeah.
Plus, get no payments for 90 days and Kia's 100,000-mile 10-year warranty.
Tell me something good.
At Kia of Auburn on South College and KiaofAuburn.com.
Guaranteed I like it. No, I really love it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I want to thank Jacob Meacham for taking a little time out this morning to come out here and promote the Polar Plunge at Kalijah. And again, such a great event. It's so much fun as far as the food, the atmosphere. If you're a little bit daredevilish and you want to try it at noon, it's when they take the plunge. And I think it'll be a balmy, somewhere around 50-something degrees. So not terrible. It could be in the 30s like when me and you did it. I remember standing on the beach, and if there's anything closer to knives going through your feet, I was just ready to go out and jump in, and we all got ready to do it, and I don't know what took so long. I'm like, would y'all please fire that cannon so we can jump in? I'm about to go jump in.
That was the worst part was, and I think they've cleaned that up a little bit, but a lot of guys ended up out there shirtless in 30-degree weather, just hanging out for about 20 minutes before they finally decided it was a good time to go. But
it looked like a scene from the Titanic off the end of that dock.
I will say this, though, if you're new to the community or if you're not engaged in the community, this is a great place to go out and meet people and be around, individuals and families that are interested in doing things, not just complaining, but getting out there and talking and trying to get involved. And Jacob's the best mouthpiece we have in this community. He's just a positive influence out there from a young perspective on good things that are going on, and I'm proud of him for that. But I'm proud of the community to do things like this that tries to get people engaged. Doesn't mean you do, but there are so many opportunities out there for events that go on that you really got to try not to be active in this community. There's so many things that go on throughout this season, even which is considered the off season, all the way through the spring and summer months.
That's the thing about the lake, in that people think that it's just a, May, June, July, August, and first part of September. It's not. I mean, and again, maybe there was a perception around that because for the most part things kind of did shut down. But man, there's so much that goes on now year round on the lake. You have to find, like you said, a way not to go do something. And the restaurants stay open now, and it's not just a warm month of the year, venue. It's a year-round venue. So people don't realize how many fishermen are on this lake in the winter months, because to me, these are the months that are the best for fishing. Now, if you're not a cold weather person, you don't care how good they bite. You don't want to go out there most days. It's tough to wake up in the morning and about 3:30, 4 o'clock, when it's about 35 degrees, and you're trying to, trailer your boat onto the back of your, on the back of your truck, and you're going to take off, and on the way to the boat ramp, your temperature gauge said it's about 31, 32.
Do you like it anymore?
Yeah, I don't like it near as much as I used to. Now, I'll still fish, and when the fish are biting, I'll go. That kind of trumps everything for me, but man, it's tougher. It's tougher than it was 10 years ago, I can tell you that. I took somebody, I won't name their name, but I took somebody probably 12, 13 years ago, and he'll never go back during cold weather. I mean, the fish, we went to Lake Jordan, and on the way to the lake, my temperature gauge said 19 degrees. And it was in early February, and the fish bit that day. Like, it's probably the best I've ever had on Lake Jordan. I probably caught 30 plus big spots on that lake that day, and he sat in the back and maybe caught one or two. And it wasn't because he wasn't really fishing. It was because he looked like he came out of an igloo, and he was so bundled up. And I told him, I said, all right, if I don't catch a fish in the next 30 minutes, I said, we'll pack it up and go. About literally on cue, about the 27th minute, I catch another one. you could hear him back there. I told him, I said, man, I'm sorry, I ain't leaving when the fish are biting. It's good. He was miserable the whole day. He'll never go back again when it's that cold. But on the lake, there's a lot of people coming in and out of this community, man. And so they got to have a place to go eat. They got to have things at their exposure to be able to come and participate in events. There's a big tournament on the lake today. So
is there?
Yeah, out of Wind Creek. So, you know, this isn't just spring and summer anymore. I mean, fall is huge. Obviously, it's a big tournament time of the year. But these are some of your bigger, most of your bigger tournaments that have ever come to Lake Martin been in January, February.
I don't blame your buddy. I mean, I remember when I was young, our family has land up in Camp Hill, and we would go when I was young, and somehow there were hunters in the family. And actually, my cousin owns Sportsman's Outpost and does.
Yeah.
So Victor, you know, he's made a living, not only made a living, but he loves doing it too. So we would be with him and we would get talked into going hunting. And I'd walk out in the woods, and I didn't like it anyway, but I'd get talked into going out there, and and it'd be like 31.
Oh yeah, man.
I'd be out there like 15 minutes, and I'd make a direct U-turn wherever we had walked to within 15 minutes, and I'd just go right back in the house and just sit there the whole time and wonder, why in the world would somebody that's got a refrigerator full of food go out there trying to harvest a deer? There's more meat in there than we know what to do with. I don't need to sit out there in that frostbite weather to harvest me one.
There's multiple reasons. Obviously, nobody's starving. Piggly Wiggly and Winn-Dixie and Walmart and, you know, wherever else you want to go shop, got plenty of food in there.
A lot cheaper than processing
I
a buck.
will say that. I will say this. And I'm not a massive hunter, but the reason people do it and the reason I do it is for that experience I had 2 years ago. That you know. To have your son do what he did and to have that experience, I'll never forget it. You know, hopefully down the line he'll be able to do that one day with his. So you just think about that kind of stuff. You know, other than that, if you're not an outdoorsman, you're thinking, man, what in H is wrong with people heading to the lake in February and in January and March?
Oh, and I've been out there in fishing tournaments at this time of year with my stepdad, and they think it's real funny, you know. And so you get on the boat with these fishermen and don't bother them. They've just done it for a long time, and they think. And the goal is to go 50 when it's 30.
50?
Whatever
Man,
it is.
I ain't blow by 50, buddy.
All right, well, 50 at 30 is the bundled up Eskimo back there in the back of the boat wondering who taught me into this. That's me.
Well, that's when you get a motorcycle helmet and you put it on and you have your 100-mile-an-hour windsuit and you don't worry about it. But see, look, seriously, when I get out there, it's the coming out of the house and getting all that stuff. But when I get out on the water and start fishing, man, I'm good. That first cast, I'm good.
Well, you're odd. You're an odd kid.
Well, there's a lot of us that are odd, and there's other people that are odd.
We got Luke Robinson coming on. He's odd too, and he's going to talk about this big victory on Wednesday night for Alabama.
I had to talk with him about it for an hour yesterday. We got to talk about it again.
Did he have a smirk?
He kind of did.
I don't blame him. Not too bad.
It wasn't bad. Up against the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neusen. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma, all with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com, 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. And speaking of Sunshine, our very own Sunshine on the phone with us now. Luke Robinson up, as always. He's been up probably since 3:34. He'd be a good fisherman. He don't like outdoor. Luke, you just don't like the outdoors part, but you're made to be a fisherman because you're up at the crack of you know what. I mean, you ready to go.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would be great at it if I enjoyed any aspect of it.
Yeah, that you kind of have to enjoy the other part, and that's actually going. But Luke, you know, we talked about it yesterday. You were on the Auburn Blitz with me, and we'll start with that game. Alabama winning big against Auburn in Coleman Coliseum. You called it a market correction game, and I agreed with you because I had felt like, you know, Auburn was fortunate to be 15-0. It was fun while it lasted. But, you know, if you'll go back and look, Auburn narrowly escaped South Alabama very early in the season. They narrowly escaped Vanderbilt at home. I mean, there's several other games I could go on, but, you know, we knew if Auburn didn't play well, they'd probably get beat, and they did.
Said it yesterday that Auburn was 15-0, but it really wasn't 15-0. I mean, it really should have been more like 12-3 probably. I think all things remaining equal. They just had gotten all the breaks and had been able to stymie some of the runs that had gotten them in trouble. You know, Mississippi State was a game they were in some trouble, and they've been able to overcome it. On the other side, Alabama had not caught a break all year long. I mean, they can't keep a lead at a good Penn State team. They can't keep a lead, a huge lead against Florida. They missed 2 free throws from Kyra Lewis at the end of the game that would have either tied it at overtime or won the game against Penn. You can just go on and on with the different games. Alabama caught a bad break in playing North Carolina when they still had Cole Anthony. North Carolina doesn't have Cole Anthony now, and they can't beat anybody. I mean, if Alabama plays them 2 weeks later, they rout them. So, I mean, they just, you know, Alabama caught some bad breaks. And this was a bit of a market correction game, just like Auburn I didn't think was 15-0. You know, in reality, Alabama wasn't 8-7 in reality. They were probably more like you know, a 10-6, 10-5 type team before that game. And look, it doesn't mean, you know, that was one thing Jimmy Stein and I talked about on the Locked On Bama podcast. This game doesn't mean, Alabama fans, don't lose your minds. This game doesn't mean Alabama's caught up to Auburn. They haven't. Auburn's still the better program right this minute. That's just the truth. Alabama can get there with some good recruiting, and if this coaching staff, you know, don't lose a game like today to regress. You got to win games like this. But Alabama can certainly get there. It's just they're not there just yet. But Auburn fans, don't blame this on the officials. Don't blame it on anything else. I mean, you know, I saw Justin Hokanson had a tweet. You know, I can't believe that you know, Alabama Twitter site, the official university Twitter site, said something about Anthony McLemore's tweet about the look on Alabama fans' faces as they leave the stadium. He's like, they said, well, you should look on their faces now. And, it's part of it. How many 1 second T-shirts? An Auburn professor gave everybody an extra 1 second on their final exam. This is all part of the beast now of social media. So deal with it. If you don't want to have your smack talk come back and hit you in the face, don't talk smack is the way this works. So I think that works for anybody, anywhere. And but conversely, this game, I know it was 19 points and yada, yada, yada. It doesn't mean anything if Alabama loses to Missouri today. The Alabama-Auburn games means absolutely nothing if we lose to Missouri. So this is basketball. This isn't football. One game doesn't make your season. And just deal with what it was. And Auburn caught Alabama at a bad time. And you know what? Alabama's probably going to catch Auburn at a very bad time in a couple of weeks.
Luke, I know you have friends within the program on the broadcast team. I'm interested in their thoughts on the culture of the program, what Nate Oates is doing internally, maybe with the recruiting. And it just looked like a much better effort defensively the other night than what we've seen here in the early part of the season for Alabama too.
Yeah, I think the emphasis on the offseason, and Alabama's Instagram page did a good job of following this, the men's basketball page, was conditioning. And the guys they did all this Navy SEAL training and all these other types of just long distance marathon type getting ready for a long grind of a season and doing a lot of running, because that's what Alabama is, a very up and down team. And I think it paid off. Now, right at the beginning of the year, there were still a lot of kinks to work out because it's a new system. And you have a coach now that's a little bit less of a player's coach. He's a little bit harder on these guys than, say, Avery Johnson was. Avery Johnson wasn't necessarily a disciplinarian, I wouldn't say. So it's taken a while to get these guys gelled, and maybe they came together. As I told Brett, I think Alabama has been closer to the team that was about to blow out Florida on the road than they are the team that lost a huge lead to Florida on the road. Meaning, I think that Alabama is much more of a threat than they are a team that is much more apt to break down at this point. But, the tail's going to be, again, I hate to keep saying this, this Missouri game is as big as any game on Alabama's schedule right now. In fact, these next three games, Alabama's got Missouri at home. They go to Vanderbilt, who's not very good. Then they welcome in a Kansas State team that's not very good. So if Alabama loses any of those three, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, Luke, we talked about it in length yesterday, and, Nate Oates echoed what you said on the show when I saw it last night in the news clips, that he said, look, we can't diminish this win by coming out and not performing well against Missouri. So, you got to keep that. That's basketball. It's like I told Gary yesterday on his show. If you have a big win, the thing about basketball, in a few days you're right back on the court, and you can really cancel that out if you play poorly. And then for Auburn's sake, if they've got to turn the page. You lose that first game, maybe now the pressure's off. They can go in and evaluate some things, and they got a tough place to go play in Florida. Hadn't won in Florida in 20 years, by the way. I know we were going back and forth on that stat. So Auburn hadn't won a game in Florida in 20 years. So it's still a season of first for Auburn this year.
Luke, before we let you go, buddy, got a couple more minutes. I'm interested. Your thoughts on the national championship game?
Thought it was the best season any college football team has ever had. It's not easy for an Alabama fan to say that, and for a guy who really kind of chuckled under his breath at Joe Burrow at the beginning of the season, at Ed Orgeron. I gave Ed Orgeron a huge apology midway through the season in the paper, and I'll give Joe Burrow one now. It's the best season any quarterback's ever had. Now, somebody will say, well, you're crazy. What about Johnny Manziel? What about Cam Newton? What about even Tua last year? What about all those guys? Yeah, that's true. And some of those guys even won their Heisman and won national championships and did all those things. But nobody's had a season like this. And in fact, I would argue that all three of those aforementioned players are better players. They're players that if you were picking a team, you'd probably choose them. But Joe Burrow put together the best season, and it's fine to differentiate that. In fact, I think at this point it's fair to say if you're putting together your all-SEC team of all time, you may put Joe Burrow on it, especially if you're a big stats guy. I mean, he just blew away the record books. It was incredible. And to watch him just maneuver through the SEC, and, you know, everybody loves to talk about how Auburn played defensively, but they still put up over 500 yards. They just kind of collapsed in the red zone. And that was one of their off games. I mean, that's amazing. So it's, you know, it was just a fabulous season. It's the best season in college football history, if you ask me. 15-0 to run through this gauntlet. It's not like they played a crappy non-conference schedule. They went to Texas and blew their doors off. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the best season in college football history. But here's the thing. And I told Brett this yesterday, if you had told an LSU fan, if you had asked an LSU fan before this season and said, okay, here's the deal. Joe Burrow wins the Heisman. Your offensive line wins the Joe Moore Award. Your defensive back wins the defensive back award. His name escapes me right now. You got all these All-Americans. You win the SEC in a blowout fashion. You beat Alabama on the road. You beat Auburn at home. You beat Oklahoma in a blowout fashion. Then you blow out Clemson in the national championship game. But you lose your offensive coordinator. You lose your defensive coordinator. You lose 9 juniors right now, as Thaddeus Moss has declared, and there could even be more. And then you lose, of course, Burrow and some other guys. Would you trade it? And they would say yes. But now that we're in this moment, you can see there's some panic on LSU fans' faces going, oh, my gosh, next year we might get our comeuppance because it's going to be our same head coach, but some new coordinators, new faces literally everywhere. And while they have talent, it is not easy to replace what they're replacing.
A lot has to come together to keep the train on the tracks, and the sacrifice to make to keep that together is tough sometimes. And then the next year, we talked about it yesterday. I know we got to get to break, but Larry Coker, 2 years removed from a national championship, fired. Gene Chizik, 2 years removed from a national championship, fired. Now we'll see what kind of Coach Ed Orgeron is now that the cupboard's bare, basically from a coaching standpoint and a lot of his playmakers. Lou, we're up against the break. Thanks so much for being part of the program. We'll see you next week, okay?
Hey, guys, one quick talking point. If you ever get bored in this summer, you just talk about how big that game LSU at Auburn next year, with LSU losing all of those folks, and how big a game that is for Malzahn to win that as they're on a 3-game losing streak to him. If he were to lose next year to an LSU team in Jordan-Hare that lost all that, that's going to be a big thing.
I totally agree with you. Good point. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it.
See you.
Up against the break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey Realtors, do you know about LMG Ad Agency? We build your brand and help sell your properties or a unique lifestyle so you can focus on your clients. We focus on professional photos, videos, aerial photography and videography, and commercial real estate. We'd love to tell your story. Contact us today at 256-392-4250 or visit our website at lmgadagency.com.
Hey, slow down, buddy. This ain't Talladega, and that race car driver's number on your back window, you ain't him. Truth is, just 10 miles over the speed limit, and your chances of killing someone are 4 times higher. So forget the number on your window and memorize the one on that orange prison jumpsuit. Stop speeding before speeding stops you.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Alex City Marines, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, and the Yerkes invite you by to see what they have available today. The 2020 Manitous and Landaus are in, and boy, are they gorgeous. Also, some great deals on demos. Take advantage of that while they last. Alex City Marine also is doing shrink wrapping, storage. Get in line now. In fact, call this number, 256-215-FISH. Alex City Marine, Alex City.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman, General Manager of Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga.
And I'm Coco. Do you owe more on your vehicle than it's worth? Are you stuck with high interest rates? We may be able to help.
If you've made your last 12 consecutive payments on time and would like to get a new vehicle for the same or close to the same payment and save thousands of dollars in interest, you may qualify.
So come by and see us and let us show you the Vaden way.
Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga, located on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here in hour number 2. I want to thank Luke for joining us there, adding his take on the Alabama side. And again, he's right. You know, you can't you come up with a big win like that if you're a program like Alabama's right now that's right at 500, a little bit above 500. You can't have a letdown with a team like Missouri coming into your place.
Well, you give yourself a chance to make a tournament run if you win the next 3, and all 3 are winnable games, because you move to 12-7. You get a couple of more wins in the SEC, which gets you above 500 in the SEC. And if Alabama can get to 20 wins and have 10 or 11 wins in SEC play, and they have a win like against Auburn, if Auburn were to reel off and win, let's say 25 to 27 games and have a good conference, it would be huge. It would help them get over the hump. And this is a team that's scary. This is a team athletically.
I've been telling y'all that for 2 weeks.
This is a team athletically, if they get into the tournament and they can get any post play at all. That's still.
I don't know that they need it as much with Nate Oates, because I thought his strategy Wednesday to get Austin Wiley out and put Reese. See, he really initiated Wiley coming out from the post.
Yeah.
And having to come out there and guard Reese. He had him, he had it exactly how he wanted it. And so that opened the lane for Kyra Lewis to get to the rim. We got a problem. Auburn's got a problem getting, up top.
Home ball defense.
Well, the point guards, man, they just have a freeway all the way to the lane. And it's not just against Alabama, man. We listed off 4 or 5 teams they've struggled with that this year.
Yeah, we don't defend the bounce real well at all. And Kyra Lewis has got a little bit more length, but it's been any point guard when they extend pressure. And here's Auburn's MO. And it's because college basketball and the pro games changed so much that we run the three-point line, which means we extend our man-to-man pressure on the half-court sets out to above the three-point line. A lot of times in days past, you'd be in a man, but if that guy wanted to shoot the ball from 3 feet behind the three-point arc,
you just let him do it.
More power to you. But when you run it, which means you're extending past three-point line and defending, and you aren't good on the bounce, which Auburn's not good on the bounce right now, it opens you up big time. And yeah, really, Austin Wiley had a lot of opportunities to start that basketball game. He went to the foul line and made his shots, Brett. But he's got, if Auburn's going to get to the next level, he's got to have games where he scores 18 to 22 points. And he never has games where he scores 18 to 22. And I'm not trying to knock him, because I think he's gotten a lot better. And he does play physical. But, Brett, his offensive game has got a lot to be desired.
No, it does.
And if he was an 18 to 22 guy, just when you need it, when you match up against a team, not Mississippi State, where you knew their length equaled ours, if not better. But when you match up against Alabama and Alex Reese is defending Austin Wiley in the post and you don't take advantage of that, it's a problem.
No, I agree with you. The standings in the SEC right now, LSU 4-0. Now, they've had a couple, Luke talked about a market correction. Well, they had to hit a buzzer beater against Mississippi State, and then they squeaked one out again the other night. They're 4-0 though. That's all that matters. 12-4 overall. Auburn's number 2, along with Arkansas, Kentucky, and Florida, all 3-1. Auburn and Florida play each other today. Florida coming into the season was one of the higher ranked preseason teams in the SEC. Of course, their 11-5 mark has knocked them out of the top 25. But again, they're a tough team. They've got the players, they've got the coach, and hitting your stride in December is not the goal. You want to be hitting your stride in late February and March, and this Florida team's dangerous. We'll have our hands full today. Then there's 3 teams at 2-2, Tennessee, Alabama, and A&M, and the rest of the league is below 500. Ole Miss and Vanderbilt have yet to win a conference game. So Luke's right with Alabama winning against Auburn, have Missouri that's 1-3, actually 1-3. Then Vanderbilt 0-3, and then a Kansas State team, and isn't very good. Man, they could reel off four wins in a row right here and really be a hot team.
Yeah, primed to go to 12-7, but you got to do it. And look, we'll see if they do, and we'll see if they have gotten over the hump.
I'm gonna put money on the table that they do.
I'm with Luke. I question. There's still will the fans come out to support? Because and you say, what does that have to do with it, Randy? Well, it does have a lot to do with it. I mean,
in basketball, it does.
You're trying to build something, and the fan support at Coleman Coliseum on Wednesday night. Look, I know that we're bragging and we're happy about what's going on in the Auburn Arena, but it looked rabid on Wednesday night.
Oh, it was.
You could sense it, and the team fed off of it. We get that consistently at Auburn Arena now under Bruce Pearl. Can Nate Oates now get it consistently at Coleman Coliseum? If he does, this team will completely change, because you get the feel, and you can't go out there and let down. But if you come into a half-packed arena that's not really into it, it's easy to let down.
Well, and Bruce Pearl did the best job of anybody. The first 3 years, he told everybody, look, it's not always going to be pretty. Please show up. We're going to catch up to you, but it's going to take us a little time. But you have to fill this arena every night, every time we go on the floor, for us to get the product we need. And Auburn fans bought in.
Yep.
He was an easy guy to follow, whether you want to call him the Pied Piper or whatever. He led Auburn into the arena, and yes, finally the program turned. That's what Alabama fans have got to do with Nate Oates. You got to go, man, you got to do more than just show up when Auburn and Kentucky comes to town.
Yep.
You got to come out Saturday afternoon when Missouri comes to town, when it may not be as glamorous. But we need your support here to build this into a place that's really tough for other opponents to come in and
it
play.
used to be that way. Wimp Sanderson had it that way.
Yeah,
it was rabid.
Hadn't been that way in a long time.
Hasn't been that way in 20 years. Alabama's had decent stretches in the early parts of the 2000s, but they haven't.
Godfrey.
They made the Elite Eight, and they didn't really go anywhere. That latter part of the Godfrey area.
Well, didn't they go to the Elite Eight with?
In 2004, they went to the Elite Eight. Yeah. They haven't won an SEC championship since 2002.
So
that's a long stretch.
It's been a while. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Scotty Fortenberry is Dadeville and the Lake Martin area's full-service Alpha agent. His office on Broadneck Street offers comprehensive life, home, auto, and boat insurance at Alpha's competitive rates. Scotty and Alpha Insurance are Alabama's #1 life insurance company for a reason. You'll always get the personal attention you and your family need. Scotty also has your commercial needs covered, so whether it's just a quote or full insurance evaluation, call Alpha agent Scotty Fortenberry at 256-825-9211.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned Superstore Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cash aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
Guys, it's back! Inline skating.
Rock and roll hair?
Calling this thing a pound sign instead of a hashtag? No, the sensation is back at Zaxby's.
The Zensation Salad is back, and introducing the new Zensation Filet Sandwich Meal with hand-breaded chicken, Asian slaw, wonton strips, and citrus vinaigrette, both served with an egg roll. The Zensation Salad and Filet Sandwich Meal, only at Zaxby's.
The door's open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Watts on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Watts on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. 30 minutes left in today's show. To kind of go back and talk about what we talked about to start the show, gaining an advantage. Now, we make arguments for both sides, but you just read off something. I just look, man, if it is happenstance or coincidence, then I just give up. But this is so skewed in one direction. If this isn't gaining an advantage, if there's not a definition of gaining an advantage, there is none.
Well, and Brett and I gave a long story about he and I being in a math class several moons back, and a teacher having a test paper up there on the front of the desk, and she literally had 25 questions on it, and she had 25 written down, and she was writing A, C, D so big up there on the desk table, and long story short, we figured it out. And
we stole signs.
And Brett Pritchard went on to make a 100 on the test on one that he knew about 20% of. And so that's what this is. This is like not only making a decent grade better, but just going on ahead and hitting a grand slam.
Shoving it in your face.
These are Jose Altuve's stats.
This is unbelievable.
For the 2017 playoff run. At Minute Maid Park, he had 36 at-bats. He hit .472. He had 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. He had a 1541 OPS. Okay? At other ballparks the same year, in that same playoff run, he had 35 at-bats. He hit .143. He had 1 home run, 2 RBIs, and a .297 OPS. And you say, well maybe he just struggles outside of that ballpark, and I can hear you maybe to a point, but this is during the same stretch. Really hard.
It's in the same playoff run.
That's my point. This is like making 100.
It is.
When instead of just missing a couple to where it wouldn't be so obvious.
That's right. It's a blatant in your face and no wonder. Everybody, look, I was as enamored with Jose Altuve as anybody.
Yes, you were.
That guy can hit, and that, as small as he is, but good Lord, dude, he ain't worth the day. It's kryptonite outside of that part. He ain't near the player outside of Minute Maid Park that he is inside it. That's obvious, man, and he can't argue with that. Nobody can argue with that. There's not that much discrepancy from home to road. If you want to go back and look at Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio and or anybody worth their salt, I can promise you.
Well, don't look at Ted Williams' playoff stats.
Why?
He pooped the bed in the playoffs.
Well, then I
always did. So don't.
Don't
bring him up.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, how about anybody worth their salt? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't have that much. Well, if he pooped the bed, then he pooped it everywhere. He pooped
did.
it in Boston.
True.
He pooped it on the road.
Yes.
If Jose Altuve wasn't a playoff, he wasn't good in the playoffs. He hit 145 in home in the road. You don't hit 500 and then go down to 145 just because you leave the confines of your home park.
And this is how Brett and I started the first hour. If you're just now tuning in, we went through probably 45 minutes of this. Back and forth. It's because it's national news, and I can't pull up a sports talk show that is not on it right now. But did you hear his excuse on why he was coming around third base after that walk-off homer to win? Why he didn't want his jersey ripped off?
Why?
Because he's married and he didn't want his wife to get mad at him.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't heard that. That's interesting. Yeah, didn't want his wife to get mad at him. Yeah, I didn't want to uncover that buzzard that was right there that told you're about to throw a fastball dead down the middle so you can hit one out. Look, man, this is exactly what everybody thought, and I'm sorry, there's no way to defend it. It's wrong. I mean, if you're doing something to gain, if you think it's, look, man, the old adage, if you're doing something and you think it's wrong, it probably is. And so it's that cut and dried. You remember going out and when you were younger and you were in a place you weren't supposed to be, and you kind of had that feeling, you're like, man, probably don't need to be here. Well, you probably don't. It's kind of like Nick Saban in that commercial where the girl said, you're probably right. And he goes, yeah, I probably am. And it's just,
tough,
it ain't right.
I know it, but
it's not right.
If it's in a competitive sport, if you can get an advantage, and I'm not making a pass for this one, but let me go back to the Patriots deal. If you're not hiding signs, if you're not making it very clear, then it's your fault. It really is. I'll say this.
I said that earlier. I agree.
I think back, and I'm trying to put myself, rather than just throw someone under the bus, but I think back, even in high school ranks. You and I were calling a ball game a few years ago, and I won't say his name, but we had a quarterback who was a very good athlete that came off the field, and we were at Prattville that night. And he came off the field and he told a good friend of ours who was on the coaching staff at the time, he said, they know every single play we're running. They're calling the play over there, and I'm looking across, and they are saying, and because they had the stat, they had the signals from the coach. So as soon as the coach on our sideline called, which I think was our buddy that was actually doing the signals at the time, he came off the field and he said, man, they are looking at me saying the exact play. Like if we're going to run a dive right here, they are saying dive right here. What do you want me to do? You can't with in a competitive spirit. But my point is that we've all been in situations where you just got an upper hand, and you can say it's right or wrong, and you can say, well, it's wrong. But in a competition, you take advantage of that knowledge that you have, and maybe that's wrong for me to say, but if I were in those shoes playing on that defense and I knew remember we played Anniston one year, the year after they won the state championship, and Coach Martin had watched film on them. He had every tendency, and everything was built off of their fullback. I don't remember exactly what it was, but if their fullback was lined up at a certain area, or if he was down, or if he was moving, you knew everything they were doing just off of the fullback, and he knew it. And he knew it from film study that week, and we shut them out. It was a great team. We beat them 7-0. And the only reason we shut them out was because we knew every darn play they were running based off of attendance.
I have no problem with that. All right, and we can carry this over because I know we got to get out here in just a second. Jacob said this when he was on just a little bit ago. He said he saw where a major league player came out and said, I would much rather face somebody on performance-enhancing drugs than somebody that knew my sign.
Yeah.
And this is going to come crashing down when players, people that you're in a fraternity with, exclusivity, pro players have done things within their community to gain an advantage or to try to hide something from others. Like if Altuve was getting buzzed or Bregman was getting buzzed or whatever. When they start coming out going, okay, I know we all do certain things, but this is ridiculous. This is over the top. That's when the proverbial crap will hit the fan.
Okay.
That's when those players that play the game with you alongside you, you broke their own trust. There's certain things you know they're going to do and that I'm going to do and all that. But when you take it over the limit, that's when it'll come crashing down. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Your comfort is our number one concern. Advanced heat and air.
With the hot summer season just around the corner, it's time to decide if your current air conditioning system will keep you cool this year. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate on a brand new energy-efficient Trane heat pump system for your home or business. Your comfort is our number one concern. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-234-5052.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local Cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Grab a 5-quart jug of Napa conventional motor oil for only $12.99 for a limited time at Napa Auto Parts. We're ready for back to school, even if you aren't ready. Purchase any Napa automotive battery and receive $25 back by mail at Napa Auto Parts.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales in Opelika has the largest selection of prestige cars, trucks, and SUVs in Central and East Alabama, all with financing available, little to no money down, and extended warranties. Get pre-qualified in under 2 minutes, online or from your mobile device at GillsPrestigeOnline.com. It's the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Me and you are intrigued and searching up what's going on with Ted. And that was, to me, astonishing. I guess I didn't know that, and I hadn't really kind of dove into Ted Williams' postseason L's. But, I mean, because all you hear about is maybe the best hitter of all time, pure hitter. And you said maybe his average was somewhere around 200 in the play. It didn't make it very much.
No, he didn't, and I'll pull that up. I'm a little behind on trying to find that, but yeah, I mean single-handedly, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best hitter of all time. Hit 344 lifetime, last player to hit 400, hit 521 home runs, and he missed 3 full years in active service during his prime years. I mean, if you add those 3 full years to his active service, he probably hits close to 700 home runs because he's hitting at a 50 home run per year clip during that stretch. So completely would change those numbers and would change that average number too, because those are in key years. I mean, he hit 406 and 41. He ends up in active service directly after that and misses a few years right there in that prime time.
But never did win a championship. So, I mean, that's the crazy thing. So there's a lot of great players in sports, football, baseball, basketball, some of the better ones that have ever played the game, multiple All-Stars, multiple accolades, but don't have that championship. And look, you can look at a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino's obviously one that comes to mind, one of the better ones that's ever played the game. Moving on from that, the NFL. NFL coming up this weekend on Sunday. You're down to the Final Four in the AFC Championship game. It's the Titans making their way so far through this playoff run with Tannehill not having to throw the football very much at all, riding Derrick Henry, and that's a proverbial term. I mean, it's literal. I mean, they have ridden Derrick Henry to an AFC Championship game appearance. They'll have their hands full against Kansas City on the road. Now, I know you go to New England and win, that's tough. I know you go to Baltimore with the type of offense they've had all year, it's tough, and they just keep proving people wrong. But, you know, things have worked out defensively for Tennessee to get the other team. And New England didn't score that many points all year anyway. I could kind of foresee them going up there and making that a close game and winning. The Lamar Jackson deal in Baltimore was kind of shocking, how Baltimore couldn't score points against that Tennessee defense. They got another tough – I mean, they played 3 of the best quarterbacks in the league, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, and Pat Mahomes. If they win this stretch, it's almost like Auburn's run the Final Four. If they win all those playoff games or tournament games against the run Auburn had to make, they deserve the Final Four. They deserve a Super Bowl if they make this run.
Well, it's a tough matchup for Kansas City too, because they have given up yards on the ground this year.
Yeah.
The last time these two played, I think, was in Week 10, and Derrick Henry had 189 yards rushing.
And Tennessee beat them.
So you can – and Mahomes, who was back off of injury in that game, threw for over 400 yards. I think he had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in that game. But it's not like he played poorly offensively coming back off of injury in that one. So this is a tough matchup, and a physical offense matched up against a defense that doesn't necessarily play well against that is a good one. You know, I like the Titans' chances here. I really do. I know that that's going out on a limb.
I don't know that it is at this point.
I think Derrick Henry is the best player in the league right now. And if the best player in the league is rushing the football for just a normal, everyday 180 to 190 yards. In this league, man, that changes the entire outlook of the football game, because then the quarterback just has to do a few things well to get a couple more scores on the board above and beyond what he can do. And the offensive line has to be playing exceptional football for anyone. I don't even care if he's a lumberjack-looking running back like Derrick Henry. To rush for 190 yards is saying something.
Yeah, it is. Again, they've gotten here where a lot of people didn't even think they were going to have a chance. 9-7 in the regular season, have had to go on the road twice to New England and then to Baltimore last week, where, I mean, they've done the unthinkable. Now, I mean, it's very similar to Auburn's run in the NCAA tournament. And when you play Kentucky, Kansas, and North Carolina all in one bracket, I mean, you beat 3 of the most one of the prolific blue blood programs ever play, and then you get to the Final Four. That's kind of what the Titans are doing right now. They will have played, if they win this game, and then beaten 3 of the best quarterbacks in the league currently. So that'll be a fun matchup. On the other side, on the NFC side, the Packers make their way out to San Francisco. Andy and Luke both said they want to see Kansas City and Green Bay in the Super Bowl. That's a rematch of Super Bowls 1 and 2, if you'll remember. So kind of going back with nostalgia and historic Phil would love to see those two teams, but man, Green Bay hasn't played well in San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers specifically hasn't played well out there. San Francisco's been a hot team all year. Jimmy Garoppolo, hey, New England had it right. They had the next best quarterback in the league ready to take over Tom Brady, but Tom Brady wasn't ready to leave. So they had to get rid of him. And you see what Jimmy Garoppolo's done for San Francisco.
Well, and the program overall is just
2 years ago, they didn't win hardly a game.
It's just a good football team.
Yeah.
Defensively, it's a good football team. They can run the football. They got a great quarterback. Impressed. So I think the NFL would really love to see another Aaron Rodgers in the championship game, and would love to see a Patrick Mahomes, who has become.
That's what I think a lot of people want to see.
I'm going to pick the direct opposite from that, though. I don't know that Green Bay can go to San Francisco and win.
I don't think they can.
And I love the Titans right now, unless some defense stands up and finds a way to stop Derrick Henry. I would pick them to win this thing, because if Bill Belichick, who never gets slapped in the face, as a coach, he always has a scheme that can slow your best part of your offense down. He couldn't stop this Derrick Henry train. I don't know anybody's going to stop this.
It's really
train.
become a physical thing. Just can you physically stop him in the second half, and with your defense, and that says a lot. That's a man amongst boys in a true man's league. So when you're running over people like he does in that league, that says a lot about it. But Luke said yesterday the worst possible matchup for the NFL from a rating standpoint would probably be San Francisco and Tennessee. The best possible rating scenario would be a Green Bay and Kansas City. I don't know. I mean, either way, you're down to the Final Four. There's four really good football teams. Really, four different styles, if you'll be honest about it. Four totally different ways to get it done. So it'll be exciting to see tomorrow who's able to pull it out on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. I'm going to say Kansas City gets it done at home, man. Baltimore left a lot of points on the field. They still had chances. They couldn't get it in. But I'm going to say Kansas City gets it done, and I'm going to say San Francisco gets it done at home. So that'll be your matchup for the Super Bowl. Up against our final break of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Hey, it's Steve from the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, and after 10 years of serving the good people of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're still doing business the same way, offering the best products at the best prices with the area's best warranties and installing them with the area's best technicians. With great customer service, a knowledgeable sales staff, and our commitment to customer satisfaction, along with the best selection of the latest technology in the industry, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Shop with confidence. Shop at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Since the dawn of time, mankind has needed tools. But not all tools are created equal. AGF Machine Rental Sales and Service has tools for all commercial construction or big residential projects. AGF Machinery offers the most durable and hardworking brands of ASV, Skyjack, and Wacker Neuson. Aerial lifts, scissor lifts, loaders, excavators, and forest equipment on demand for the best possible price. And backed by the Southeast's best team of professionals. Visit any of our strategic locations across Alabama for all your equipment needs. Or online at agfmachinery.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. A few minutes left in today's show. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening out there, providing comments here on the program. You make the program. A couple of things to finish out the show here today. Man, look, we don't talk a lot about NBA. This class for the NBA in 15 years, you may look back and go, that might be one of the best classes that's come out in a long time. Zion Williams and Randy, I know we're talking a little bit more about sports cards now that I'm back into it. I've never seen prices on a card from a guy that ain't even stepped on the floor yet. His rookie card right now, and the way Panini does it, these certain exclusive cards that are numbered, but there's some rookie cards right now going for $40,000 or $50,000 for Zion Williams, and he ain't even played yet. Now, if he goes out there and blows a knee and never has a career, those things won't be worth toilet paper. I mean, seriously, it's like buying a stock. You don't want to buy Zion Williamson right now. You can't afford it. I mean, it's really stupid. Ja Morant, though, for some reason, is still semi-affordable. So if you want to go buy a rookie card and put it back, he's going to win Rookie of the Year unless he gets hurt. And he's astonishing. And, man, to come from Murray State and to do what he did, and Auburn played against him last year, you could tell right then that, we knew he was probably the best player in the country coming in outside of Zion Williamson. But if Zion gets out there, he makes his pro debut next Thursday. People are excited to see that. If Zion lives up to billing and Ja Morant does, and then the Tyler Heroes and the list goes on and on with these players that are in the NBA class, this could be something special.
I think Morant, if he gets an outside shot that's consistent, is going to be the best player in the league.
He's averaging 18 points a game right now.
But it's his athleticism. Really like the way he plays the game. It doesn't feel like things are too big for him. Like his. But I watched an interview a couple of weeks back, and I don't know if you saw this interview, but Zion was talking about how long he and Ja have been friends. And they actually played on the exact same AAU team when they were younger.
Shocker.
Now, they were on the same AAU team when they were 14 or 15, and he said that they were just pieces off the bench. The two of them were. He said, we had dudes. This was a good team. We had 17, 18-year-old guys that were some of the top recruits in the country, and he reeled them off, but none of them are. It was J.J. Redick's podcast. And J.J. Redick, when Zion was saying this, was going, hold up. You and Ja Morant were just kind of like guys that came in and ate up some minutes at some point, at any point in time in y'all's basketball career, and he was giving the story. But really cool to see how long back these go, and just to think, that's where basketball is. That's where great sports are at this point in time, Brett. If you aren't putting in the work and getting out there and being exposed to greatness, you don't get there. And Zion Williamson wasn't making a point he's like, man, we deserve to
sit on the bench.
Yeah, man, we didn't deserve to be out there at the time.
And the thing that drives, there has to be a reason. There has to be a supply and demand thing for something to have value. The Asian market is rabid for the NBA. They can't buy enough stuff. They can't buy enough jerseys. You can't find a Chuma Okeke Orlando Magic jersey anywhere in this country that's not a youth. They don't exist. They've been sold out for months. And it's because the Asian market buys everything up. They're buying up all the cards. So that's driving the price up. They're more obsessed with NBA than they are any other sport. And the United States nowhere near as obsessed with NBA basketball as the Asian market.
As David Stern passed away, do you think there's no way to express what kind of global game he created along with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan? There's no way to express what's come from that. You know, I mean, before those two guys, and it may have been right there at the first of their career in the NBA playoff championship game or the NBA championship series was on tape delay.
That's
it wasn't even a live event.
Wasn't even a live event.
Think about that.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now it's maybe from a worldwide standpoint, maybe the most popular sport out there. Up against the end of the show, again, we want to thank everybody for watching and listening every Saturday. We'll be back with you next Saturday. For Randy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next week.